Q, the Winged Serpent. Possibly the finest thing from Larry Cohen. I'm not a fanatic about Larry Cohen. Some people who knew me, were surprised about that. And I was actually offended. I feel the same way when people have assumed in the past that I was a John Waters fan. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Probably. Anyway. I absolutely love stop-motion animation, movie monsters, and strong screenplays. And this film has free and therefore is inexplicably fantastic, insofar as effort was put into it. Did they really think this would cater to general audiences in 1982? In 1958, this would have dazzled audiences, but in 82? I mean, this feels like a love letter to classic monster movie fans, as though they knew they wouldn't make a profit off of it. This film is straightforward insofar as it is a monster mash, although what assists this film's contemporary positive reception among the vile film fan cyberscape is the brilliant performance of Michael Moriarty. Even negative assessments of this film laud the character portrayed by Michael Moriarty. I cannot think of a monster movie which attempted to illustrate a more three-dimensional character than this film's Jimmy Quinn. I find it hard to wrap my head around that, to be honest. Oh, and speaking of Michael Moriarty, I'm going to link in the description his scene from the film Troll, 1986. Now, obviously, Troll 2 is the more famous one, and it's wonderful, we love it, whatever. I'm even fond of what we technically call Troll 3, the Fabrizio D'Angelis film, the one with the evil trees. You know the one. And if you don't, I know it sounds like the silliest thing in the world. It kind of is, except for Troll 2. But yeah, Troll 1, the lesser of the trilogy, has one wonderful moment where Michael Moriarty's character, whose name is Harry Potter Jr., or Harry Potter Sr., excuse me, I think, which caused a bit of a minor stir a couple of decades later for obvious reasons. And yeah, there's a scene where his character, this boomer dad raising his young Gen X kids, finds some time alone, this kind of boring, comb over, slightly overweight, button-up shirt, stiff, moved into a new house, and he's got the house to himself, and he finds the record player, and he pops on a LP of Blue Cheer's debut album, and starts rocking out to Summertime Blues. And it's the greatest, I swear to God, it's like the greatest scene from the 1980s about the baby boomer generation. Again, inexplicably, in Troll 1, that terrible film with Elaine from Seinfeld getting possessed by spirits or whatever the hell. Anyway, that's a excuse that tangent. On top of Michael Moriarty in Q the Winged Serpent, we're gifted with the presence of David Carradine and Richard Roundtree as two rather baffled police detectives. These two would have made for a fantastic law enforcement duo in any narrative you place them amongst. Now, there isn't much to fault this film on, other than the fact that it is a monster movie. I mean, that doesn't bother me personally, obviously. I like monster movies quite a lot. Love monsters. They're great. Most cinephiles wouldn't be caught dead naming this one of their favourites, but frankly, I admire and appreciate this film for much of the same reasons we all love and adore Ridley Scott's Alien. I know. Cinematography, music, mood, subtext, seriousness, sound design, pacing, ambiguity. Look, I love and worship 1979's Alien, and if I did do an FOTD on it, I'd like for it to be at least 20 minutes long. To soothe my abusive inner critic. You can imagine how he's like. But yes, cite whatever you want to cite in order to free yourself from the guilt of enjoying a monster movie. But Ridley Scott's Alien is a very deliberate homage to Roger Corman-esque creature features of yore. You might remember, that film's real brainchild, narratively, was Dan O'Bannon. Yeah, the Return of the Living Dead guy. And Brain Scan, if you know what that is. Fucking Brain Scan. Anyway, in that respect, I don't consider Q to be coming from a wildly different place than 1979's Alien. One of the most acclaimed films ever made. And rightfully so. And yeah, it's better and all that, but well. You can recite whatever psychoanalytic readings of Alien you like. I like them too. They're fantastic and wholly valid analyses, I say. But guess what? You like a monster movie. Not that controversial. Doing some very quick glance-like research, which is our privilege in 2021, a lot of the reason for Moriarty's character's depth was developed after the screenplay was written. Cohen was pleasantly surprised to discover that the actor he had hired to star in his monster movie could also write and play music. perhaps seeking to fill out the runtime, or perhaps to show off his apparent dramatic chops as a director, Cohen included the narrative component wherein Jimmy Quinn is a struggling, if not failed, jazz pianist. Like the Corman reincarnation trying to churn out profitable monster movies in the 1980s, Jimmy Quinn, the character in Q the Winged Serpent, may have felt more at home in the 1950s. Part of the reason this film works for me is its tone. It operates as though it isn't a monster movie, in a way. It is a New York cops and robbers drama which happens to be interrupted by a flying predatory monster and thus becomes a genre bash. It feels like a non-genre film which is invaded by a genre film trope and seeks to eliminate it. I really dig that. It absolutely gives this film a layer of believability and seriousness. You can choose to enjoy this film as a goofy monster romp, and it will be one of the best and most considered you'll ever watch. Or you could choose to take it more seriously, as pretentious as that might sound, but yeah, fuck MST3K. As the vision of a determined artist who sought to craft the best film he could possibly achieve. So that's Q the Winged Serpent. Check it out.